Level 5 is returning to the West. Hello, welcome to my humble abode. My name's Denise, and honestly, I couldn't be happier for their return since they produced some of my absolute favorite games, which include Dark Cloud, Ni no Kuni, Fantasy Life, Professor Layton, and so many more gems. In the company's Happy New Year card, Level 5 had announced we will take on new challenges. In addition to new information on Inazuma 11, we are also planning to announce a completely new work, so please look forward to it. This new work that they mentioned could possibly be the new Deca Police game announced during the Nintendo Direct. And according to an article from Nintendo Life, the writer Jim Norman speculated that this new game had slim chances of ever coming to the West since Level 5 had already announced that it had virtually halted its North American production in 2020, and that they weren't planning on any new releases, making an appearance outside of Japan for the foreseeable future. Since making this decision, multiple games that previously had English localizations received only Japanese releases, which include Yokai Watch 4, Inazuma 11 Victory Road of Heroes, and Megaton Musashi X. Thankfully, they seem to have gone back on their word and have returned with about 3 newly announced games coming in the next year or two, as well as plans to hire more people to help them localize the games and expand globally. Deca Police was a surprising announcement for me since this game is a completely new IP unlike Fantasy Life or Professor Layton. It's a crime suspense sci-fi RPG where you play as Harvard, a rookie detective who wants to use any means necessary in order to solve the crimes of the city of Bradstone. Harvard and his party are part of a special investigations unit that uses an immersive simulation, aka the Deca Sim, which contains the memories of every single past crime. Players can find clues at crime scenes using the Deca Sim, which will create a puzzle-like simulation for players to solve. And according to the trailer for Deca Police, you won't just be finding criminals in a simulated world and catching them in the real world. Weird things might happen in the Deca Sim, such as Harvard transforming into a cat inside the simulation due to a mysterious hacker. You'll mainly play as Harvard, but you can also choose other members of the party to work on different tasks associated to the investigation. I'm super excited to meet each of these new characters in this game since each character in Harvard's party will have their own skill, such as forensics, profiling, general logic, and many more. Though the trailer showed a lot of gameplay, not much is known about the overall story of the game. Who doesn't love a good old mystery game where you can get to play detective? Is it getting steamy in here, or is it just a new steampunk-inspired Professor Layton game? On February 8th, a new teaser trailer for Professor Layton and the New World of Steam was released during the Nintendo Direct. The teaser was only 23 seconds, which I personally thought was far too short. And the only thing the teaser really showed was Professor Layton strutting his stuff before he turned to the camera and tipped his hat as he stood in a beautiful steampunk-inspired town. The teaser concluded by stating that a new mystery will begin. For fans, this is exciting news since the last Layton game was released 6 years ago on the 3DS, which featured Layton's daughter Catriel, and it was unfortunately not great according to longtime fans. And it's been a long time since Professor Layton himself was featured in a game as the main character, so expectations are really high for this next game. The Professor Layton series was incredibly popular on the DS and 3DS, and there were 4 main games on the DS, 3 on the 3DS, and a spin-off mobile game that I have to say is pretty fun. I had no idea about this one, but they also released a feature film in 2009, a 50-episode anime, and a manga inspired by the Professor Layton series that I need to check out ASAP. Nintendo did release a brief statement on the game stating that in the newest entry in the beloved series, Professor Layton will face new puzzles in a fresh setting, solve epic riddles as he progresses through the story of this puzzle fantasy adventure, and stay tuned for more details in the future. This next game just about had me on the floor with shock when I saw it in the Nintendo Direct. A new installment of Fantasy Life is coming to the Switch called Fantasy Life: The Girl Who Steals Time, and honestly, it's already stolen my heart. The first game was set in a small country town, however, in this next installment, you'll see yourself in a new island, which is giving me Animal Crossing vibes, and what really caught my eye was the time hopping feature, which allows players to go ahead and travel from the island's present to its past and back and forth. And one of my favorite features from the first game was being able to try all the different job classes, which includes playing as a cook, miner, blacksmith, and the list goes on. Thankfully, this feature still lives on in the new game, as well as other activities that we haven't seen before, such as woodcutting and terraforming, which will give us more room to customize. Though the first game was awesome, I definitely think it lacked in terms of customization, which the second game has improved on. This will definitely appeal to Animal Crossing players and sim players who love decorating and customizing their place. It has been advertised as a full sequel to the OG 3DS game, and popular characters from the previous game will be returning. Apparently, a direct sequel to Fantasy Life was first announced back in 2018, but it was delayed many times until it was finally released release as a mobile game known as Fantasy Life Online. However, service for the mobile game was discontinued on February 6th of 2023, and this is pretty crazy news since Fantasy Life Online was only released globally just a year ago on December 27th of 2021. I did get to try it out briefly when it was originally released, but I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to play more of the mobile game before it was shut down. I actually did check out the app afterwards, and yeah, it's definitely out of service. A new Inazuma 11 game is also set to release during the Level 5 online event scheduled for the end of February. Inazuma 11 Victory Road of Heroes is a football/soccer themed game that many fans thought wouldn't make its way to the West since the company closed its global branches, but with a planned global release for all the other Level 5 games I mentioned, this Inazuma 11 game might also be released globally as well. In the last couple of years since they shut down all their global branches, Level 5 has been working on a lot of things, but here's what you've been missing out on if you're not up to date on the last couple years. According to an article from DualShockers, during the 2019 Anime Expo, Level 5 had expressed that it had intentions to localize Yokai Watch 4. And in 2018, Level 5 president Akihiro Hino confirmed to Famitsu that the company had plans to release the horror game Ushiro on Nintendo Switch, which was a game that initially was supposed to be released on the PSP in 2008, but never did. Though the game was never released, it did receive a short novel adaptation in 2014 called The Grumpy God of Death, as well as 2 manga adaptations in 2015. And it's kind of crazy to think because I never thought Level 5 would be a studio that would create a horror game, so I'm quite curious to check this one out if it does receive a global release on the Switch. So what do you think about all these new releases? Are you as excited as I am? Let me know. And if you're interested in learning more about Faith Farm, which is a game similar to Fantasy Life, then check out this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.